Yeah, friends. So today's topic is conical pendulum. Now we have seen what a simple pendulum is, and now we need to understand, what exactly is the difference between conical pendulum and simple pendulum. In your previous study, you might have seen a simple pendulum. Now, what is a simple pendulum? A bob suspended with the help of a string, you can see, connected to a string, a bob connected to a string which can move to and fro will be considered as simple pendulum. But if the same bob, of mass m and the length of suspension equal to L, it is made to move in such a way that it performs circular motion in horizontal plane. Observe the second diagram, friends. Here you can see the same bob is made to move not to and fro, but to move in horizontal circles. Then, if you observe, what's happening is this entire motion, it is subtending a cone at a point of suspension. So such type of pendulum will be considered as conical pendulum. So if you want to define conical pendulum, it will consist of a bob attached to one end of the light string, which is inextensible, and it will revolve in horizontal circles with uniform speed. So you can see the bob is moving in horizontal circles with uniform speed, friends. I don't know, Gayatri, why you are not able to hear me, but others are able to hear me. Just a minute, friends. Okay, I will just sort out the issue. Yeah, friends. So we were discussing about conical pendulum. Now, in conical pendulum, you can see there is a bob attached to a inextensible string, which is suspended from the point of suspension, and this bob performs horizontal circular motion in horizontal plane, obviously. Now this entire circle will subtend a cone at the point of suspension, and therefore such kind of pendulum we will call it as conical pendulum, French. Okay, so this is the case. Now let's have some consideration over here. Let m be the mass of the bob, which is moving with speed v in a horizontal circle of radius r and center o. Okay, so let's go ahead with the analysis, friends. Please make a note of this before we move ahead towards the next screen. The next slide, in a way. Let me know once you're done with it so that we move ahead. This is just the definition of conical pendulum for you people. Now we would be analyzing this situation for conical pendulum, friends. All right, so let's proceed further then. People say yes, done. So let's try analyzing this situation. So here you can see M is the mass of this pendulum, R is the radius of that horizontal circle, O is the center. Obviously, in three dimensions, you can see H stands for height and L will stand for the length of the conical pendulum. You can see the slant height, you can call it. Yeah, friends. Okay. Now, in this given scenario, you try to understand the analysis. You can see there are different forces which are acting on the bob. The first force which will be acting on the bob will be its weight, which is mg, and it will be acting vertically downwards. You can see. So this is the first force which is being mentioned, which is acting on the bob of a conical pendulum. Okay. And the second force will be the tension in the string. You can see this arrow is showing you the tension in the string, which is denoted by capital T over here. Okay. You can resolve T into two components, but then for that, say if theta is the angle at the point of suspension, we will call it as semi-vertex angle. Okay. If this is theta, these two lines, if you observe, they are parallel lines and this is a transversal. So obviously by geometry, you can prove if this is theta, this angle will also be theta, alternate angles you can consider it as. Then if you know this angle, T is the tension, which is a force or which is also vector quantity. This vector quantity can be resolved. Adjacent to theta will be cosine component, whereas perpendicular to theta will be sine component. Okay, so we can resolve T into two components. T stands for tension. So the vertical component you can see is T cos theta. If you can observe this, adjacent to theta, the component is T cos theta. Now, if you observe the entire picture over here, this T cos theta is balancing the weight, means they both are equal. Had weight been more than T cos theta, then what would have happened? This bob would have moved vertically down. But because it's not moving, it is stable, we can come to a conclusion that T cos theta will entirely balance the weight mg over here. So this is about the first component, friends, that is T cos theta. The second component of the tension will be obviously T sine theta, and you can observe how it's located, you can see. So here in the diagram, the other component, the perpendicular component is T sine theta, and this T sine theta is actually providing the necessary centripetal force, that is mv square by r. Okay, so that is mv square by r, friends. Okay, so the component T sine theta is providing the necessary centripetal force. You all know centripetal force is a force which is directed along the radius towards the center. So this T sine theta is providing that centripetal force. All right, and the value for centripetal force, we all know it is mv square by r, where m stands for the mass, v stands for the linear speed of the bob, and r stands for the radius, friends. So in a way you can see T cos theta will be equated to mg because it is nullifying it, and T sine theta will be equated to the centripetal force, that is mv square by r. Without this centripetal force, this horizontal circular motion is not possible as per our arguments and discussions earlier. So before we move ahead towards the analysis further, please make a note of this slide. Very, very important slide, friends. Let me know once you're done with it. And the way we express forces over here, we will call such diagrams as force diagrams. These diagrams are very important for analysis in mechanics, friends. Okay, so most of you say yes, most of you say done. Again, I repeat what we are going to equate out of this diagram. So concentrate high on that, friends. All right. So we are going to equate T cos theta with mg. Why? Because it is nullifying it. And T sine theta with mv square by r. Why? Because T sine theta is providing the centripetal force which is necessary for the circular motion. So in the next slide, you can see I have equated T sine theta to mv square by r, that contributes to equation 1, and T cos theta equal to mg, so that contributes to equation 2 over here, you can see. All right. Now, once we know equation 1 and equation 2, if I divide equation 1 by 2, what happens is you can see T sine theta by T cos theta. T will get cancelled and sine theta by cos theta will be tan theta. mv square by r divided by mg will be, m gets cancelled, and what remains is v square by rg. So on left hand side it will be tan theta, right hand side it will be v square by rg. So from this we get the equation for the speed, okay, linear speed. Shuffle everything in terms of v square. So you get v square as rg tan theta, and when you take the square root of it, the equation for the linear speed of this bob is root rg tan theta. So it will be dependent on the radius, acceleration due to gravity, and this angle theta over here. So it depends on, you can see, this value will depend on, okay, the value of theta depends on speed. More the speed, you can say more the value of theta, tan theta in it. So please make a note of it before I show you the next slide. And let me know once you're done with it. So in the first case, we have derived the equation for the linear speed of this bob of conical pendulum, friends. Please make a note of it before we move ahead. Yeah, so most of you say done. So let me show you how this conical pendulum is to be, imagined in a way. Let's move ahead. Here you can see. Hopefully now you are in a position to, with this animation, you can actually imagine how the motion of a conical pendulum can be like. Make a note of this slide as well, okay, before we move ahead towards the analysis. Possible. Just take a screenshot of this. Proper screenshot at a proper position. It's moving, it's dynamic. Hopefully, I've taken the note of this. Let me know so we move ahead then. So, this is the best way to imagine how a conical pendulum can look like or work, basically.
Can you show previous slide, please?
Yeah, I can. Okay, so this is the previous slide. Once you are done with it, let me know so that we move ahead. So, hopefully done.
Done, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So, this is how you are supposed to imagine it. So in this previous slide, we have derived the equation for the linear speed of this. Okay. So let's talk about the time period of the conical pendulum. So the time taken by this bob to complete one circle, you can say, or one revolution is the time period of conical pendulum. So if I want the equation for it, I'll get back to the basics. So time will be distance divided by speed. Now what is the distance it's covering, friend? So distance covered by it will be 2 pi r, you all remember. And speed is v, which we have derived right now. And the equation for speed is root rg tan theta. So instead of v, I can substitute it as root rg tan theta. Now I need to, analyze this thing clearly. There has to be difference between this capital T, this is a tension, okay, and this P stands for time period, or in your analysis you make it as t dash so that there is no confusion between time period and tension, because they both are represented by notation capital T actually. So I believe that confusion won't be there, and then we proceed further to simplify this. So here r is in the square root sign. This r can be splitted as square root r into square root r, right? And then the simplified version will be 1 square root r will get cancelled, and it will be 2 pi root of r g tan theta. Simplify this, you get this equation. So the equation for time period then boils down to 2 pi root of r g tan theta. You know what r is. This is the radius of that circle. G is acceleration due to gravity, and theta is a semi-vertical angle you can see at the vertex or at the point of suspension. Now we have to work out some trigonometry out of it before we move ahead towards it. Please make a note of this slide and let me know once you're done with it before we proceed towards the remaining part of the analysis. Now, so most of you say done. So in the first case, what we have done, we have found out the equation for the linear speed. And in the second case, we have found out the equation for the time period, friends. Now, if you observe, this r can also be substituted in terms of different notations. So let's move ahead, friends. In this figure, can I say r will be equal to L sine theta? Okay, let's get back to the previous slide. I'll show you that. Okay, yeah. So here you can see sine theta will be what? The opposite side, that is r, by hypotenuse, that is L. So then r will be what? L sine theta, right? So sine theta, if sine theta is r by L, Obviously, R will be L sine theta. So that's what is being substituted here if you observe. R is being substituted as L sine theta. So when I substitute R as L sine theta, then tan theta can also be substituted as sine theta upon cos theta. So you can see sine theta will get nullified out of it, and cos theta will get into the numerator. Substitute tan theta as sine theta upon cos theta, and then finally you get the equation for time period of conical pendulum, and that is 2 pi root L cos theta by g. So you can see this time period will depend on the length of the pendulum, theta, and acceleration due to gravity. Please make a note of this.